What's up, everybody? We've got a pay-per-view prediction show for you. Impact Turning Point on Impact Plus this weekend. It's also going to be available on Fight TV Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. So Saturday, November 14th, Impact Turning Point. So we've got a 9-match card. I'm just going to go through these matches and just kind of make some quick predictions. Feel free to follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, as it says in the bottom left corner, at AngryBeaver1127. Also, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up as well. Leave some comments if you're so inclined. I do appreciate making interaction with other wrestling fans. I'm just another wrestling fan who's just putting some stuff out there and just kind of seeing who I can make connections with and interact with. So again, feel free to hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, leave some comments, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Always looking to make connections with people. So we'll get into those predictions right away. So let's do that. Start with a tag team match. We've got Chris Sabin, who's going to pair up with James Storm, while Chris Sabin's partner, Alex Shelley, is temporarily out. On Impact last night, I'm recording this on a Wednesday, so on Impact last night, Sabin had run into Triple XL a little bit and basically realized I need some help because these two dudes are massive, and he found James Storm, and so they kind of said, hey, like let's pair together, and James Storm basically said, yeah, I got your back. So we're going to get a tag team match with these guys. Nothing really on the line here other than just having a good match here. This is a good shot for Triple XL to look good against some pretty talented talent on the other end of them. But I do think that given how good Sabin and Storm are, and considering that Storm has recently come back, and I think there's some long-term plans there, I'm going to go with Sabin and Storm to win this one. But I think they do make Triple XL look very, very good. But I don't see any reason why you put Triple XL over two guys that are as good as Sabin and Storm are, unless you're simply pushing the fact that, hey, look, this is a legitimate tag team versus two really good talents who paired together. But I am definitely picking Sabin and Storm. That's my hope there. Again, I do have to be honest on a little bit of bias there. With Chris Sabin being from Michigan, where I also am too. I'm always going to kind of root for him, but I think it makes more sense to have Sabin and Storm win this one than Triple XL. Nothing wrong with Triple XL. I do like their stuff a lot, but I think Sabin and Storm is the smarter play to go there. Another singles match with basically nothing really on the line other than just, hey, look, here's some talent that we have. We've got Eddie Edwards versus Daivari. Daivari did return at Bound for Glory, and my goodness, this man is jacked. I was very impressed with how he looks coming back, and I actually think that given how good he's looked in his return, I'm going to actually pick Daivari to beat Eddie Edwards here. I know Eddie was the champ recently, but he's got a lot of targets on his back right now, and it wouldn't surprise me to see some type of situation where someone comes and messes with Eddie and it costs him the match. But I think Daivari being newly returned, looking as good as he has looked, I think that's a very easy spot to put him over someone who realistically Eddie Edwards can win or lose matches, and his stock in the company isn't really going to move that much. He is a guy that is very reliable for Impact. He's done everything for them. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be willing to say, yeah, I'll put Daivari over me. Because again, he's kind of, I don't want to compare him to Johnny Gargano in that sense because they are different people, but I think Eddie is similar in the sense where win or lose, he's an Impact staple, and it doesn't really hurt him to lose a match. So I'm going to go with Daivari here. We have the X Division Championship that will be on the line, and we don't know who is going to be challenging for it. All we do know is that Rohit Raju will be the one defending the title. He's been doing this Defeat Rohit challenge, and he has continuously been surprising with victories. I keep picking against him, and I keep being wrong. At Bound for Glory, I thought that in that 6-person match that they might shock us and go with Jordan Grace. I thought that when he faced Chris Bay, that Chris Bay was going to beat him. I thought that last night when TJP took him on, I thought TJP would beat him. So I continue to be wrong in picking against Rohit, which would make you think that I'm going to pick Rohit this time, but I am going to be very consistent. I don't know who the TBA is, but I'm hoping that it's some type of big return or big debut. So I'm going to say that because we don't know who it is, I'm going to take the TBA. So no disrespect intended to my also Michigan man in Rohit Raju, who is from Michigan. I'm going to pick against him once again. And if I continue to be wrong, then good on him for proving me wrong. But I think eventually someone's going to take the belt off of him. He's had it for a little while now. He's had a fairly good run. But I think depending on who this TBA is, I could see him dropping it. But again, I've been very wrong on his whole run. So I'm going to pick against Rohit, and I don't know who it is that I'm picking. So this might be a really stupid move, but I am going to pick Rohit to lose. Tag team match as we get closer to the Knockouts tag title tournament that will be happening very soon in the next couple of weeks. We are seeing some tag teams trying to form. Obviously, Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie have history together. They've been together for a while. They did all their stuff with Wrestle House. There's the whole issue of Rosemary and Johnny Bravo getting married, and then Johnny got shot. So we'll see what happens with all that. And then obviously we have Tennille Dashwood and Jordynne Grace pairing together. They teased this last week, and then they ended up not pairing together because Tennille basically picked Madison Rayne to return to the ring instead of saying, hey, Jordynne, let's pair together. And then when that didn't work out for Tennille, Jordynne and Tennille have paired together to see, is there something here? I really think that that could be a very fun tag team because of the way both of their personalities work. I don't think it would be a Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler level of like hating each other, but I think you might see that little bit of a frenemies thing coming out there. So I do think that that is a cool tag team that I hope they stick together with. We know that Rosemary and Taya are dealing with all of the drama of Johnny Bravo getting shot. So there's the distraction laying over them. So I'm going to go with Tennille and Jordynne to win this, not only because there is the distractions going on with Rosemary and Taya, but because I think if you give Tennille and Jordynne the win, that says, hey, this is going to be a tag team. And I can think of very few options that I would like better than Tennille and Jordynne as those first Knockouts tag title winners. I would love to see Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan win those titles, but if it's not them, I would be all about a Tennille and Jordynne team. That would be a very fun team to watch. It would be a very fun team to see them run with those titles for a little while. Don't neglect the idea of Deonna Purrazzo potentially being somewhere in the mix there too, because she also kind of fits with what those two do, even though Jordynne and Deonna have had their issues recently. So it's not a best friend situation, but I think they have the potential to kind of create some unique stories there. So I'm going to go with Tennille and Jordynne to win this one. And again, it's with the hopes that they keep this team together, because I really do think that this team has a cool story that they can tell. We have Brian Myers taking on Swoggle. For those of you that don't know, if you're watching this, you probably know who Swoggle is, but he had been in WWE as Hornswoggle. Funny enough, his Twitter handle still actually says Hornswoggle on it. But Brian Myers is going to take on Swoggle in a singles match. Brian Myers has basically been taking all of his WWE loser frustrations out on his Impact run. He's gone kind of full heel. And I think that it's a lot better than anything he did in WWE. I think that it's been very, very entertaining. I'm starting to legitimately buy into him as a real part of the show. Swoggle said that he feels like in Impact he can be a real wrestler and not just a sideshow, to which Brian Myers pretty much laughed at him and said, you'll always be a sideshow. So there is some heat going on here between these two guys. I don't see any real reason why Swoggle would win this unless it's some kind of surprise roll-up finish. And I think trying to establish Brian Myers as a legitimate pro wrestling, threat, I think having him lose to Swoggle isn't the way to do that. So I think you're going to see Brian Myers win here, but I think this is going to be one of those spots where he gets a chance to elevate his heel status a little bit. I can see this being a match where he refuses to pin Swoggle because he wants to just beat him up over and over again. And then once he does pin him, he just keeps beating him up. So I do think Myers wins this, but I think it will be interesting to see how it goes through. Again, the only way I see Swoggle winning this is if they do some kind of weird distraction finish. But hopefully that's not what happens. So my guess is Brian Myers beats Swoggle, and he ends up being a very big jerk about it. We're going to see Moose take on Willie Mack. This is not for the TNA title because the TNA title isn't technically recognized by Impact. Moose has not said anything about it being for the title either, unless I missed something. But ever since EC3 and Moose had their match, Moose has had a very different character to him, and it's that controlling his narrative type of deal. He's even gone as far as doing the I'm controlling my narrative, and he's done the free Moose thing. He's talked about how he has legitimized his run as a TNA champion because of all of the people that he has beaten. But Willie Mack is a very real threat because Willie Mack is very, very good. That being said, though, the way they have been pushing Moose, I don't see any reason why he loses this match. The fact that they are not putting the title on the line does make me cautious a little bit. But again, that is potentially maybe part of that story of Moose controlling his narrative of, I don't need to put this title on the line because you haven't earned it, but I'll still destroy you. So I'm going to go with Moose to win this one, but I think this is going to be a very physical match. I love watching Willie Mack. He's very impressive in the ring. He's very athletic, but so is Moose. I mean, the guy was a former NFL player for a reason. So I'm going to go with Moose to win this one, but I think this can be one of those surprisingly fun matches as well as being fairly brutal. We'll see the Impact Tag Team Championships defended. The North is going to take on the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers came to Impact back at Slammiversary. They have not had the tag titles yet. The North just got them back, though, so that makes this a little bit of a tough call because I don't really think that it makes a whole lot of sense to have the North win the titles back just to drop them. But the Good Brothers are going to want some kind of tag title at some point. So that does make this a little bit unique here. But I think given the way that this has all worked out, I'm actually going to take the Good Brothers to win this one because there has been some discussion over the contract status of people like Ethan Page. Ethan Page has also been involved in some other companies' things, which Impact allows, so that's not an issue. But I think you have the unique story of the North just had the longest reign or the longest title run ever. The idea that they can drop it this quickly in just a couple weeks after they won it, I think that opens up some unique things as well. So I'm going to go with the Good Brothers to win this match, but I do expect, obviously, Impact does still have the automatic rematches, so I think you'll see some of that happen as well. But I am going to go with the Good Brothers to win this one. I'm honestly probably looking forward to this match more than any other match in the fact that Su Yung has been very entertaining in her short time, and this is a no disqualification match. I love when the rule book gets thrown out once in a while, and I think this is a good spot to do this because Deonna was saying that when she lost at the previous pay-per-view, when she lost her title to Su Yung, it was because she didn't even realize that Su Yung was even there, and it was kind of a lack of preparation, so it's not on her. So this kind of creates that there are no excuses. You know who the champion is. There's no need to make any excuses about what's going to happen here. You beat her, you get the title. So I really hope that this is a physical match. I expect that it will be. I am a big fan of Su Yung since her return. I do have to be honest, her theme song is fantastic, and I think it fits her character amazing. But Deonna is also very fun to watch as well. The no DQ does leave open some unique possibilities of what they can do here. Obviously, Deonna has had some assistance recently from Kimberly, so we can see a interference there. But Su Yung obviously does have her own history there with people who have been involved in her stories as well. And Deonna also has some enemies there. So I hope that it is pretty much just the two of them but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some people interfering here just because of the no DQ stipulation. When they put the title on Su Yung, it was a very last minute decision. They were going to put the title on Kylie Rae, from what I have heard. But then Kylie Rae obviously didn't show up, and she has since retired. So that would make me feel like, okay, they didn't have this plan. The plan was for Kylie. So maybe put the title back on Deonna. But I think this is a shot for you to do something a little bit different. I've mentioned the Knockouts tag division. That could be something that we see Deonna and Kimberly go after, is the Knockouts tag division instead. So I'm going to say that Su Yung wins this match. Will obviously move the story forward. It lets Deonna go do something different because she did have the title for a little while. She can go chase that tag division title, and then we can do something else with the women's or with the Knockouts title. I don't know who you're going with for Su Yung after this, but that's where the show gets to get written. So I also know that Impact has said that basically if Kylie Rae ever wants to come back, she can. So if she comes back, there is a match there, but I don't think that that's going to happen, at least not for a while. So don't really know where they take this afterwards, but I do think Su Yung does retain. But it will not surprise me to put it back on Deonna, given that the original plan was for Kylie in the first place. So I'm going to say Su Yung wins, but I totally understand if they put it back on Deonna. Last match that we have to talk about, Rich Swann versus Sami Callihan for the Impact World title. Rich just got this title. And again, I don't think you take the title off of him, given how much of a feel-good story that was for him to win it in the first place. Now, Sami has proven that he doesn't care what other people think, and that is part of his gimmick. So while it wouldn't surprise me to say, all right, Sami takes the title back, because it's that heel move, and it would be disappointing for Rich, who has gone through so much, and you can continue that story of him continuing to go through a lot. But I think you're going to probably see Rich win this match, and then Sami can go do something else. They didn't build this a whole lot other than just in the last couple of weeks with some blind attacks with Shamrock and stuff. So I think this match will be brutal, but obviously there is not a no DQ stipulation here. So they've got to keep it within the confines of the rules. That doesn't mean that Sami won't find ways to try to cheat, but that's part of the character there. So I do think Rich Swann takes this win because, again, he hasn't even had the title a full month yet, I don't believe. So you want to keep that on him for a little bit longer, maybe save that for another pay-per-view or some other time for him to drop the title. But I am going to pick Rich Swann to beat Sami Callihan. So that is our match card. So Saturday, November 14th at 8 p.m. on Impact Plus, also available on Fight TV. I want to thank everybody for watching. And again, I want to remind you, feel free to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. The username on the bottom left corner, at AngryBeaver1127. Please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the subscribe. Please leave a comment if you would be so kind to do that. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching. We will have another, I will have another prediction show for Survivor Series when that comes around a little bit closer. AEW does not have another pay-per-view until Revolution, which will not be for a while. So basically, guys, just kind of keep a lookout for the WWE and the monthly Impact Plus pay-per-views. But I will have a Survivor Series prediction show once that is a little bit closer. There has been talk of The Undertaker, there has been confirmations that The Undertaker will be at Survivor Series as well. So I've already got some thoughts on what that might be, so I will include that in that video as well. So be on the lookout for that. And again, if you hit that subscribe button, it will tell you when I post the video. So once again, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you for watching. I appreciate those of you that have been commenting, have been watching. But until next time, that is all we have time for. So thank you again for watching, and we are out.